Yo, check it. Alright fam, what's up? This is the weekly outlook and prediction. Absolute banger. You do not want to miss a second of this. We're looking at SPY, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, AMC, GME, and much, much more in this video. And thank you all for the birthday wishes. Let's go ahead and not waste any more time and hop in the charts, facts, data. Let's go. All right, what is up? You are back for another video with Datazero. This is your weekly outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. If you missed the recent video I just dropped for AMC stock, it's an absolute banger, taking off in the algorithm. Make sure you check that video out, talking about why the consolidation for AMC stock may have more to it than meets the eye. But let's go ahead and hop in with your weekly outlook and prediction with some fundamental data for AMC and GME, and then hop into the technical. So GME stock right now sitting at 0.37% cost to borrow. AMC stock sitting at 2.27% cost to borrow, slightly taking a pipe to the upside. That's exactly what we want to see. GME cost to borrow still remaining low because of that recent dilution. We want to see liquidity dry up, but GME is doing something extraordinary. It is rallying to the upside while they are trying to short it to the ground, which shows a short squeeze could absolutely pop off for GME stock. Now we can see that they have 2.8 million shares available to short for GME. That is a decent amount of shares, but it seems like what's going on right now is they need more and more shares, and it's doing less and less damage. This is in part because of the float getting bigger. Because of that dilution, it's going to take more and more shares to do more price action. So this is a good and bad thing for the shorts. That dilution obviously gives them some time to kick the can down the road, but it inevitably makes the problem even worse in the long run. So again, short interest, cost to borrow, those things are important to look at for any type of short squeeze play, and the meme stocks, especially in my personal opinion. Now let's go ahead and go into some technicals and what's going on for GME stock. You can see that they've been shorting it, but we're making higher lows. You can see we have this low here and this low here. We had this overall downtrend. I told y'all once we broke out of the falling wedge, the lowest price target that we would get would be that 2232 level. You can see that we peaked out at about 2303 and then pulled back to the downside, not confirming that 2232 level of support. But last week we were able to break above 2232 and confirm that as support, which is extremely bullish. I told y'all once we confirm that level, that's going to give us room to run towards that $25 level, and it looks like that's what's in progress right now. So I do think we're going to see a green week for GME stock. I want to see GME break above these two key levels here. It's more of a range, 2503 and 2593. If we can break above these two levels and clear these levels as support, our next major level of support and resistance is going to be that $30 level. So that's what I want to see GME achieve, breaking and holding that $25 range. And if we can do that, we can start moving towards $30. And last time we broke above $30, you can see what happened. We had a big move to the upside. Once GME confirms 30, it's a major support and resistance zone. It loves to take off after it gets there. Also, FOMO kicks in, gamma kicks in, and shorts are heavily underwater because they've been shorting down at these low prices all of this time. So GME is in a unique position. I think that we are starting to see GME run, and remember what happened last time GME started to run. If we can keep momentum and keep going, you could see another big move to the upside, and the fractal is calling for one more rally. Now we had a rally here on GME stock that looks similar to what the fractal was calling for around the similar time, but let's say they shorted it or kicked the can down the road. It could cause GME stock to fulfill the rally and end up rallying back to the upside. Remember, I told you we were expecting a rally because of the fractal, but then it got shorted down here, and that's a period. This time period is kind of similar here. You can see it's roughly around the same area in the fractal. But what if they kick the can down the road and we do see a rally because they kicked the can down the road, and the fractal could be calling for that. You also see that higher low structure, which is something we're seeing right now. You see a big move to the downside after the last rally, then you make that higher low structure. That's what we're seeing right now on GME stock, that higher low structure after a big move down. So again, the fractal expands and contracts, so we could be setting up for another rally for GME stock. Now, that's not to get everybody hyped. You want to watch key levels first. If we break above $30, that's going to put us in a position to see that rally. So we're getting very, very close. We just have that major level of 25.03 and 25.93 to break above. Before we get there, we do have some intermediate support and resistance that I'm not too worried about. RSI is not yet overbought on the daily time frame, so we do have room to run. If you go down to the 4-hour time frame, though, RSI is getting overbought on some of these smaller time frames. So I think we do need to pull back and consolidate. So if you did see that, don't be too alarmed. We're in this overall uptrend, though, which is bullish, and we are still intact with this overall uptrend, and we haven't even tested the trend line yet. So until this trend line breaks down, I would expect GME to continue to the upside. It's basically riding the bands to the upside, getting a nice bit of gamma push to the upside. You can see how we're riding the bands here on the 4-hour time frame, just riding the bands to the upside, all good. Once we come back inside of the bands, that's when we'll need to consolidate. But I think we're going to move into an overall uptrend with what I'm seeing here, with the momentum and overall macro technicals that I'm seeing with the higher low setup, the breakout of the falling wedge. I think GME is setting up to start recovering and move back to the upside. Green daily MACD. We're also starting to get some buy signals popping off here on some of the smaller time frames, even on the daily time frame as well. This is a significant signal, especially if it can carry through. So it looks like we have a decent amount of momentum here on GME stock. Here on the alligator 4-hour time frame, spread very far apart, showing there's a ton of momentum. And again, we haven't even came down to test this trend line, so I'd expect an overall uptrend until we break down below this trend line. Now you can hit subscribe and also follow on the live streams and lock in right now, where we will be tracking all of this. I go live market hours, so make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you can lock in and get these technicals, because we've been very, very on point for what's coming, the rallies, calling the rallies before they come. That way you can take profit, make money, and not have to always lose by diamond handing. Again, you need to be able to trade, adapt to different situations, adapt different markets. Again, it is good to hold a long-term position, but why not make some money in the short term while you're waiting? So this is what I'm looking at for GME. I do think we're going to see a green week. As far as what we could see for tomorrow, I think we could see a little bit of excitement here in the morning, then pull back, probably confirming around like this 23.50 level as support. I want to see a clean break above 23.90. That's going to help us move towards that $25 range. I think we'll probably be able to break that on Tuesday. I think this bullish momentum should continue. We're definitely going to have to test the trend line here on Tuesday. So we want to see if that does hold up and see if this bullishness does continue, how high we can go. If we can break that $25 level, that's when we can start moving towards that $30 range. So GME looking good in my personal opinion. I also want to point out this kind of bullish flag consolidation. You have this move up and then this bullish consolidation holding these levels. So I think we are going to be able to confirm that 23.50 and then push up from that range there on a GME stock, probably having a bullish Tuesday. Hit the like button and join the live tomorrow to lock in. I also want to point out that AMC tends to do very, very well on short weeks, and we're going to be talking about this here in a second as we move into AMC stock, and we do have a short week. So that's what I'm looking at for GME stock. Green week is what I'm predicting. Let's go ahead and move into AME. So I just referenced that we normally do well on short weeks, and things tend to happen on short weeks. Now, that's not to hype everyone up, because it could be a nothing burger. We could need to wait to the week after. But if GME continues to rally, I believe AMC will start to get momentum. You can see what happened last time GME really started to get momentum. AMC picked up right with it and had two decent rallies to the upside, which we did play here in the Discord as the DZ fam. So make sure, again, you hit that like button and subscribe to lock in. Now, you can see that AMC, people got a little bit of a scare as it dropped to the downside, but we're making this higher low structure, and we also are in like this kind of pennant shape now, as you can see that we're starting to coil up like a spring. So we're definitely getting ready to make a decent move here on AMC stock. Now, normally I would be worried about this pennant type shape after this move down, but I can see that MACD is curling up here on the 4-hour time frame. We're getting across. Also, GME is also helping us get momentum, and we're using the 200 moving average as support on the daily time frame. So the macro is what really matters. You can see right here on the daily time frame, if I just pop on the moving average, you can see that we bounced off the 200 moving average. It's sitting at about 482, and if you go ahead and zoom in at price right now, we're closed at about 485. So we bounced off that 200 moving average, used that as support, and that is extremely bullish for AMC stock here on the macro. Now again, if you haven't watched the video that I just dropped, make sure you check it out. I talk about all of this extensively and break it all down. I'm not going to do this in this video, but there are a ton, and I mean a ton, of macro signals flashing that are extremely bullish for AMC stock. You can see that we have this bullish consolidation here. We have volume spikes, and again, I break this all down in that video, so make sure you check it out. We also have green weekly MACD. We have green weekly MACD, green monthly MACD, super trend buy signals here on the weekly time frame. There are a golden cross. There are a ton of macro signals flashing, showing that AMC stock is bottoming and building bullish momentum to try to go up to fill these gaps that are on these bigger time frames. And these gaps on the bigger time frames normally get filled 99.9% of the time. These gaps get filled. That's why you don't see gaps on the weekly time frame and daily time frame all over charts on assets, because they end up getting filled. So AMC stock is looking bullish as far as I'm concerned. You have this overall consolidation range, which I know people are not happy with, but we're kind of making higher lows. Look, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. We're literally coiling up like a spring, building a bullish base and getting ready to lift off, in my personal opinion. Now, I want to see daily MACD go green. That would be something to indicate that we are going to see a lot more bullishness, and if you see volume really start to pick up. Now, as far as what I could see for Tuesday, I think we are going to try to confirm that 200 moving average of support. We'll probably come down back to around 481 and then bounce off of that level. So you'll see a little bit of rise in the morning with GME and then pull back, confirming that level, and then we should be able to get up towards 490, which is a major support and resistance. And once we get back above 490, $5, we are definitely back in the game. We also want to see a clean break above the 50 moving average here on the daily time frame. So I'll go ahead and pop that on for you. The 50 moving average is sitting at about 504. So again, that crazy battle of 502, we need to get back above that 502 level, confirm that as support, and like I said, once we're back above that 505, $5 range, we are back in the game. So I want to see AMC confirm this 200 moving average, which would be extremely bullish, come back up and then confirm that 50 moving average, and then we won't have this ceiling over our head and we can really start to move up, because you can see every time we try to break above the 200 moving average, that white line, we've gotten rejected, and that's the difference and why we needed to consolidate, building this bullish base so we can move up and stay above the 200 moving average. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing for AMC stock. I do think we're going to be able to see a green week for AMC. Now let's go ahead and move into SPY and then go into cryptocurrency. So SPY, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people this week. I think what we've seen here was this overall channel. We broke down out of it, and then we have this consolidation. Now, this consolidation is looking like a bullish consolidation in my personal opinion. I think SPY is actually going to shock a lot of people. I think it's going to break all-time highs in my personal opinion. And I want people to focus on NASDAQ. So the Datazero family, we've been very, very successful being able to play SQQQ with short-term options and short to long-term options, and also holding and playing SQQQ. We've been able to make a decent amount of money. Make sure you guys check out the Discord. Again, just hit me up on my email, DataZeroOfficial5, and then I'll send you the information for the Discord. Once you send payment made by PayPal or Cash App, I'll send you the link to get in. But what we need to focus on is NASDAQ, and NASDAQ is what SQQQ moves inverse of. Now, NASDAQ, we were able to play it last week with SQQQ, play it to the downside, but right now I think it's getting ready to break out. You see this bullish hammer candle here on the daily time frame, also confirming the 50 moving average, bouncing off of that, and then you see this like bull flag structure here. I think NASDAQ's gonna pop up and fill this gap to the upside here. There's a gap. You can see that after we had that major pullback that I called for on SPY and NASDAQ after we broke down out of that overall channel that we've been in forever. And I said, once we break down out of this channel, you're going to see a big drop to the downside. And that's what we've seen. Now we're kind of getting that complacency bounce back to the upside. And I do believe it's a complacency bounce in my personal opinion. I think we're going to come up and fill this gap. NASDAQ will probably come close to all-time highs, maybe slightly breaking it, but then pulling back to the downside. And that is going to take SPY with it. You have to realize that NASDAQ is what's really driving the market right now, because that's what all of these tech stocks are. And also SPY is heavily made up of like Microsoft and Nvidia. So these major Mag 7 companies are what you need to pay attention to. And NASDAQ has really been the driving force of this overall rally that we've seen in SPY in the market. So we've had this bullish consolidation. We've had this bull flag. I think SPY is going to break all-time highs and then have a pullback because NASDAQ's going to come up to fill that gap and then come back to the downside. Now, people are asking me, do I think it's going to continue? Do I think the bull run's going to continue? I think we're reaching a top-in period in a complacency stage type period where you're going to see a slightly higher high and then start to pull back in a double top type fashion, in my personal opinion. I think that RSI is starting to get this bearish divergence here on the weekly time frame. You can see lower highs on RSI also getting into that overbought territory. So once SPY does break all-time highs, it's going to start to pull back. You're going to see a decent rally once it's able to confirm that major level of support. So that high of about 565.05, if it does confirm it as support, you're going to see a nice push to the upside. And it does have to break it to get that nice push. But then I think you're going to pull back because RSI is running into those problems that we've been having on SPY. There is little to no room to run. You can see that RSI keeps getting hot, and we're getting overbought, and then you're having to see the market have these huge corrections to the downside, which are completely unhealthy. And I also think the macro is starting to play out. I think that the bigger players like Warren Buffett are starting to see the writing on the wall. That's why they're selling billions and trillions of dollars of stock. So I think that we are getting to the end of this overall mega huge bubble that we have seen, but it is not going to go down without a fight. Okay, it's absolutely not going to go down without a fight. It's a very powerful uptrend, but once the dominoes do get kicked and start to fall, once the stilts do get pushed from underneath the market that it's built on, it is going to come tumbling down in a big way, in my personal opinion. Now, as far as data drops that we have for this week, ISM, I think the major thing is going to be JOLTS, because again, that shows with the overall health of the economy. We're seeing unemployment start to rise. I think that the Fed is a little bit behind on these rate cuts. I think they should have actually cut rates sooner. When they do cut rates, that's going to help inflation start to come back. So we're really not in a position, and you can see that the whole economy, and this is not doom and gloom, is really just in shambles. And I've talked about this as far as the macro is concerned with fiat currency and everything like that. I really feel like we're getting to a point where they need an exit plan. Now, we have unemployment coming up, but this isn't till Friday, okay? So unemployment's going to be absolutely huge, and I think that we're going to see bullishness in the first half of the week, but I think once we get maybe around Wednesday, JOLTS, and then unemployment, that's going to start bringing the market down, especially if you see unemployment come out higher. That's going to be really, really bad for the market. Now, if the unemployment comes out lower, the market could get a pump, but I think we're going to see unemployment continue to the upside, in my personal opinion. You can see that that's been the overall trend. So we do want to watch out, because we have this unemployment dropping on Friday, which could cause for a bearish Friday. I think we're going to see bullishness throughout most of the week, and then the later half of the week see bearishness, but I think that's going to give us an overall green week for the market. You can see that we have a bullish hammer candle on SPY as well here on the weekly time frame. So I do think we're going to have a push to the upside, in my personal opinion. Now let's go ahead and go into BTC and then wrap up this video. So Bitcoin been having a little bit of downside, sitting on the edge of a cliff, but has not budged. I think Bitcoin is actually consolidating as far as the macro is concerned, building a bullish base with this massive bull flag, and I think it's going to make a push to the upside. I really think that they're trying to shake you out, because I've explained this time and time again. They cannot print more crypto. They cannot just dilute like they do with shares. They cannot just print more, especially Bitcoin, like they do with the dollar. They literally have to try to drop it down with this FUD, artificial selling pressure, and try to make you sell it to them for the low. If you will not sell it, then they cannot get it. So personally, and this is just my personal opinion, based off of everything that I know about fiat currency, Bitcoin, understanding digital, storing it as a digital value, Bitcoin to me is one of the best assets that we can stack, giving us an advantage to move forward, especially people that are like millennials or younger, because we don't have the same opportunities as people older us that had in places like real estate and things of that nature. So in my personal opinion, I think crypto is providing a great opportunity, amazing gains. I think it's a space that you should learn about. I did a poll on the channel. Over 55% of y'all hold crypto, and I do think it is the way to go. Definitely when you're investing in crypto, you want to look at tokenomics, fundamentals. You don't want to just go into the craziest meme coin. Yes, they can make a lot of money, but you do not want to hold those. In my personal opinion, things like Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum are good long-term holds. Now, Bitcoin overall, look, we're holding the moving averages on the weekly time frame. I think we're just in a bit of consolidation period before another move towards the 80K range. This is a bull flag, and I think we're going to see consolidation, which has pretty much been boring. People have been saying, oh, Bitcoin's crashed and stuff like that, trying to hype it up, but it's really not moved out of this range. And until it breaks this flag one way or the other, which I think is going to be breaking to the upside, I would not be worried. If you go ahead and look at the alligator, again, it's showing signs of consolidation. But if you go ahead and zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out, you can see that we're still in an overall uptrend. And we still have a lot of bullish momentum to the upside. Still have green monthly MACD. All of the macros are saying that we are literally cooling down before another push to the upside. And I think that if we did go into like a depressionary type of environment, even though this might sound crazy to people, I believe that Bitcoin would perform similar to gold and do very, very well. And if we did get an environment where the Fed cut rates, I think Bitcoin would perform well in that environment. They still kind of classify it as a risk asset, and you can even see we got a little bit of a pump when Powell said about cutting the rates potentially. So just imagine that if they did cut the rates, I think we could see another huge push to the upside. And I think that the institutions know it. Also, institutions are getting in. They got in around 48K. I really don't think they're trying to drop it much lower than that. So I think we're building a floor and going to see a move up, in my personal opinion. We could see some pullbacks before then, but I don't think we're going to be going much lower than like 55 to 50K, in my personal opinion. So make sure you lock in, hit subscribe. This was the weekly outlook and prediction. If you found the video informative, go ahead and drop a like. I appreciate it if you watch the end of this video. I do have a merch store. You can check it out in the link below. We have Battle of 502 shirts, different types of things. Datazero merch, I'm wearing some right now. Good quality. So if you want to support the channel in a different way, you can check that out. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe. I could not do this without y'all. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Please, make money. Peace out. Alright, y'all, that was the video. If you found it informative, go ahead and drop a like. If you support the channel, go ahead and leave a comment down below as well. And I appreciate you if you watch to the end. And make money, fam, because you already know what it is. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out.